So I wanted to go over how to actually make the border jump like we have in the lecture. It's referring to this file, and you can follow through the lecture and try to do this. There's a couple typos in the lecture, and I should probably warn you of that. So make sure that you watch the video. Obviously, you already are watching the video, but you know, if you hopefully you've found this and you're looking in both places. But it's really the fact that there's some typos in there probably is helpful, because we need to learn to look for those things. Actionscript is not like the English language. If we make a mistake in a sentence, the sentence still can be understood. Actionscript, unfortunately, if you make an error, a spelling error, a syntax error, things just don't work. But I wanted to go through how to actually make the border jump like it's talking about in the lecture. So one of the first things I want to do is talk about instance names to make sure you guys are clear on this. In order for Actionscript to communicate with objects on your stage, these objects have to have instance names. In this case, I'm going to be accessing this little snowboarder. And this is an exercise from an old textbook. I apologize, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. But we need to be able to associate event listeners and manipulate the values of this object. So if I click on the object, you can see in the Properties Inspector, I actually already have an instance name. It's called border MC. If it doesn't have that instance name, I can't communicate with it with Actionscript. So now that I know that I have that set with Actionscript, I'm going to access my Actionscript panel. I can't press F9, unfortunately, because of Camtasia. I just realized that F9 actually pauses my recording in Camtasia. So I'm going to go up to Window and get my Actions panel. Just learned that the hard way. Okay, so here's my Actionscript panel, and I'm going to just put the Actionscript in here to make my border jump. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create the event listener. So I want border underscore MC dot add event listener, and then I want a mouse event, and the type of mouse event is going to be a click. Okay, and let's stop here and let's talk about this basic structure. This is the basic structure of an event listener. I have something that I'm listening to, I'm telling it I want the event listener, and then I'm identifying what I'm listening for, in this case a click. Now this last portion here of the event listener is, what do you want me to do when I've actually heard this event, this click has occurred. And in this case, I'm going to create a function called onClick. Now, again, I'm going to take little baby steps here. Let's look at how the coloring on this here. Notice that border MC, onClick are black, add event listener, mouse event click are blue. The reason why is because add event listener, mouse click, and click are all internal pieces of functionality with Actionscript. So the Actionscript panel is communicating that to you, that it understands what that is. Border MC and onClick are things that we are creating. I arbitrarily named the object, gave it the instance name of border MC. I just decided that. And then the function onClick again is arbitrarily named. I could have named it anything. I could have named it, purple monkey. It doesn't matter what the function is called, just as long as we're consistent when we, use it in the syntax here. So now I have this event. It's listening for a click, and I've told it when it does get the click to fire this function onClick. I need to now define onClick. To tell it that I'm going to create a function, I use the word function. Okay, I'm really bad about creating functions. So, and of course, Actionscript doesn't know what functions are. So watch your spelling. So function onClick, and then I need to give it the variable that it's listening for. Again, it's an event, and it's a mouse event, we should be getting this script assist consistently, but for some reason I'm not getting it today. And then I'm going to put void. Don't worry about why I'm putting void at the end here. Just, go with it for now. It's because it's not returning any data. You don't need to worry about that at this point. And then the function itself is actually, now that I've declared, I'm creating this function, the methods that I call for this function are going to appear inside the curly braces. And I got a little script assist there again. I did the open brace, and then I hit enter, and it gave me the curly brace and indented me for the function that I'm going to call. Now, this is where I tell it what I want to do. I could actually stop right here, press Control Enter, and it's not throwing any errors, but when I click, nothing actually happens because I didn't tell it to do anything. I didn't put any methods in here. What I want it to do is I'm going to make it move up, just like we did in the lecture. So I'm just going to tell it I want order underscore MC, and I want to access the Y value, and I'm going to decrement in this case. One of the weird things about ActionScript is that if you decrement the Y value, your object actually goes up. And I'm going to go 15 pixels, and then semicolon ends my sentence. It's part of my syntax. Test it, and what do you know? There it goes. Zooms on up. Nothing to it. And then the last thing I had you guys do is how do you know it's going to be clicked? I wanted you to add this button mode equals true to border MC. So that when the cursor goes over the border, it turns into the little pointy hand guy, which is of course the universal for communication for you can click this. There's nothing to it. Now it's going to throw errors if you make mistakes, like if I do a function. It's throwing an error in the compiler here. It says syntax error, expected definition keyword such as function after attribute function, not on click. So yeah, it's actually telling us that we've made mistakes. So, or if I were to, let me comment this out. If I try to do that run this without defining the function, it throws another error. It says access of undefined property on click because this function is commented out, so it's not able to access it if it just wasn't there. Or if I misspelled something on lick, yeah, that function doesn't exist. So you got to be really careful with your typing because all it takes is one little snafu to make everything go awry.